How you guys doing? It's Mike back with the thought of the day on September 29th, 2023. First, I want to give honor and praise to the Elohim of Israel for waking me up and giving me the strength and the wisdom to bring you this message. Then I like to open with the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. May your will be, not mine, be done. Today, I want to talk about the 4 levels of alcoholism. The 4 levels of alcoholism. A lot of times people ask me, how do you know if you're an alcoholic or not? And then I explain to them the different symptoms of it. But often it leads to people comparing themselves to other people, was saying things like, well, I haven't lost my job yet. I get up and go to work every day. I ain't staggering, walking around. I'm not a homeless person on the street. So they have in their own mind characteristics of what they think alcoholic is. So right now I'm gonna read through the big book and I'm gonna give you what they describe as the 4 levels. Back then, it was perceived that most alcoholics were husbands when they first started the program. Bill W. and them, most of the alcoholics were husbands. So the book reads in the sense of it being a husband. But as time evolved, women have been coming out more and more. And so alcoholism can be a husband or a wife, basically a male or a female. So we're going to read through. And it's in the chapter entitled To the Wives, in case you want to get the big book and read it. So, and it starts on page 108. It says, level 1. Your husband may be a heavy drinker. His drinking may be constant or it may be heavy only on certain occasions. Perhaps he spends too much money for liquor. It may be slowing him up mentally and physically, but he does not see it. Sometimes he is a source of embarrassment to you and his friends. He is positive he can handle his liquor, that it does no harm, that drinking is necessary in his business. He will probably be insulted if he were called an alcoholic. The world is full of people like him. Some will moderate or stop altogether, and some will not. Or those who keep on, a good number will become true alcoholics after a while. That's level 1. Level 2. Your husband is showing lack of control, for he is unable to stay on the water wagon even when he wants to. He often gets entirely out of hand when drinking. He admits that this is true, but is positive that he will do better. He has begun to try, with or without your cooperation, various means of moderating or staying dry. Maybe he is beginning to lose his friends. His business may suffer somewhat. He is worried at times and is becoming aware that he cannot drink like other people. He sometimes drinks in the morning and through the day also to hold his nervousness in check. He is remorseful after serious drinking bouts and tells you he wants to stop. But when he gets over the spree, he begins to think once more he can drink moderately next time. We think this person is in danger. These are the earmarks of a real alcoholic. Perhaps he can still tend his business fairly well. He has by no means ruined everything. As we say among ourselves, he wants to stop. That's level 2. And you can see how the progression got higher on level 2. Level 3. This husband has gone much further than husband number 2. Though once like number 2, he became worse. His friends have slipped away. His home is in a near wreck and he cannot hold a position. Maybe the doctor has been called in and the weary round of sanitariums and hospital has begun. He admits he cannot drink like other people, but does not see why. He clings to the notion that he will yet find a way to do so. He may have come to the point to where he is desperately wants to stop, but cannot. His case presents additional questions which we try to answer for you. You can be quite hopeful of a situation like this. Level 4. You may have a husband who you completely despair. He has been placed in one institution after another. He is violent, or appears definitely insane when drunk. Sometimes he drinks on the way home from the hospital. Perhaps he has had delirium tremens. Doctors may shake their heads and advise you to have him committed. Maybe you have already been obliged to put him away. This picture may not be as dark as it looks. Many of our husbands were just as far gone, yet they got well. Now, those are the 4 different levels. As you can see, things got darker and darker because this is a progressive disease. I can relate to myself being level 1 and going into level 2 before I hit my bottom, and that was it. And it happens very quickly because you don't really see what's going on. You don't really notice the change that oddly. And oddly enough, you don't really know the change, I meant to say. But the progression is real. I remember getting to the point to feeling like I felt more comfortable with the substance in my system than I did without it in my system. And that's when you know, like, things start to get different and you need some help. So listen back at those 4 different levels. And if you have to identify yourself, or you might know somebody that you love and you can see those things in them, it helps you identify if you have the disease or not. And it's 4 different levels, and that takes out the comparison, and so try to identify with one of the levels instead of compare yourself. It's a real cunning, baffling, and powerful disease, and it's very deceptive, man. So I just do these videos to try to help people that might have it, because I know I went through it, and I still treat it every day with my with God and hitting meetings and helping other people, and you could too. So this brother Mike, make sure you enjoy your day, even though it's rainy and stuff. Still praise the Most High for giving us another day. Shalom.